Welcome to New Rose Glow. I'm doing Annabe's 7-step formula to success in the School of Affluence, and today is day 48. In keeping with trying to meet affluent people where they already socialize, I went to a museum. Actually, I went to one of the most affluent museums in my state, the High Museum of Art. It houses some of the most prestigious art collections from all over the world, and I spent over 3.5 hours soaking in the art, the culture, networking, and of course trying to widen my circle to more affluent people. I've been going to museums, I want to say, since I was in middle school, so a huge part of my life. I am an artist, and I've taken art history classes, I have done a lot of art on my own, and I love the arts, so this was a natural place for me to go. Fortunately for me, it's also a place where many affluent people frequent. I'd like to give you some tips today to help make your next museum trip a success. The first thing you want to do is find the right museum. Not every museum that caters to an affluent audience is located in an affluent area, so you really want to do your research. I tend to look for museums that house international collections. The second tip is to avoid rush hour. That's often when there's a large crowd from the community or a school tour. That's definitely Monday through Friday, early mornings, and on the weekends during lunch hour. The third thing to do is to brush up on your art history facts and some of your art vocabulary. This would be a good time to figure out what's being exhibited in the museum and to just study that. I also like to figure out a few fun facts about the artist and about the work, so if I'm caught in conversation, I can add those things. When it's finally time for you to go to the museum, the fourth thing you should do is only bring the essentials. Not every museum has a coat check, so you don't want to bring a lot of excessive items. Also, think twice about bringing food and drink. I usually eat right before I go to the museum, and I also drink before I go in as well. Some museums have a lot of security and they don't allow you to bring drinks in, but if they do, I would bring a very small water bottle, because sometimes where you can get water is very far from where the art is. So I could start out on the first floor and go all the way to the third floor and have to go back to the first floor just to get a drink of water. It's nice to have a little bottle with me. Often you can't drink that water unless you're in the hallway or if you're in some sort of like bridge area away from the art, anything that's not going to cause an accident. But I would still have the little water bottle if you tend to get thirsty. My fifth tip is to actually look at the art. I know you're there to meet affluent people, but it's really important that you pay attention to what's in front of you. Look for conversational details, things that you can talk about later when you do run into people who want to have a conversation. And at all times, have a friendly demeanor. People are constantly watching you. You might not notice, but if you're at a museum for a long span of time, like I was for 3 hours, you're going to see the same people over and over again in different rooms of the museum. And you want to make sure that they always have a good impression of when the last time they saw you, so that if there is a chance for them to approach you, that they feel welcome to do that. My sixth tip is to only talk to the serious and the friendly. Now they may seem like two adjectives that contradict themselves, but you want to talk to people who are actually looking at the art and you can have a genuine, deep conversation with, and people who are friendly, people who are open to conversations, maybe those who are lightly laughing with a friend. You want to avoid people who are goofing off or being shady. Shady behavior is often in the form of taking photos that shouldn't be taken in a museum, or eating and drinking in areas they shouldn't be, or touching the art. Avoid people like that. 1, they can get you tossed out of the museum. 2, you don't want to be associated with people like that. Other people will see you hanging out with them and they'll avoid you. And then 3, they're most likely not the affluent people, because that's not classy behavior. And for my last tip, tip 7, don't be afraid to be proactive. Now, museums are my home place. I feel very confident in an artistic setting as an artist, walking up to people and having conversations. That might not be the case for you, so I want to give you a few openers that really work for me, and hopefully they'll make you more successful. One thing you can do, now this one's a little tricky, is to pretend to be taking a picture of yourself and struggle. Often people will see you and try to help you, and if they don't try to help you, just ask for help. Can you help me take a picture of myself near this portrait? And while they're taking the picture, take note of their appearance and think of some things you can say to them. Often you can find an opener just by what they have on them. Don't be afraid to give a compliment. Often people dress up to go to museums, and they love hearing that their hard work is being appreciated. Also, consider asking for someone's opinion. Often people in these creative spaces are deep art lovers, and they'd love to have a conversation with you about the pieces that they're looking at. This is your time to pull out that art history knowledge and that vocabulary. You don't have to impress them, but you do have to be able to keep up with the conversation. Those were 7 tips to hopefully make your next museum trip a success. I hope you enjoyed my advice. If you have any additional advice that you'd like to share, please leave that in the comment section below. If you like content like this, please hit the subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you'll know whenever I make videos. If you like this kind of content, hit the like button. If you don't, you know what to do. Just stop. Don't do anything. And if you would like to follow me on my Instagram, it's instagram.com/newroseglow. I hope you have an amazing week, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!